Welcome, welcome, welcome. The greeting of the day, as per usual. Good morning, good evening. Well, not in that order. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Listen, hello everyone. Um, I have a new moniker that I've adapted for all our viewers and subscribers. I'm calling you guys the smarts. So that's that's the that's the pronoun that I'm giving you, the smarts, because this podcast is for smart and intelligent people. And that's what we do here. We provide smart and intelligent conversation about important intelligent topics. And tonight's episode 40, episode 40. Man, we're getting up there. We'll be at episode 50 before you know it. And I got a special guest coming on episode 50, and we have some things lined up that I'm sure you guys are going to love. And before we get into it, tonight is a freestyle. We're freestyling tonight, off the top of the head, no subject, no hip hop, no, as we used to say in the military, no hip pocket training. Off the top of the head, man, the chrome to the dome. Just having a conversation, freestyling with the sensei. And before we get started, I'm Turbo, the CEO, the final boss. He's Sensei. He's Big Mike. And as we begin, I'm gonna give you my brass tacks for tonight before we start it. Today, we embrace the power within us and us all. Remember, each challenge we face is an opportunity for growth, and every step we take is a step closer to our goals. Join me or join us as we unlock our potential and inspire one another to be the best version of ourselves. Let's dive in and conquer every day together. The final boss.
Dum-dum-dum.
Boom. Woo! So what's going on, sir? You ready for this freestyle?
Oh, chilling like a villain.
Oh man,
You
chilling.
name it, we dance it. I mean, it's all good.
It's all good. It's all good.
We'll tap into a little bit of the depths of the well.
I love it.
Indeed.
But this is our first, so something different. Our our show is up to date. We have a subject. We do some research on it, apply references and talking points, and then we would, have our show. Tonight, we're just having a basic conversation.
You're gonna get it.
We're gonna get it.
Gonna get it. Talk
Yeah.
about all kinds of stuff.
All right.
Just all kinds of wherever it hits, it hits.
Wherever it hits, man.
And of
So,
course, we're gonna do the normal standard where it's for entertainment purposes only.
oh yeah, absolutely. The
Absolutely.
disclaimer.
And we if you've heard anything we've ever had to say, you understand pretty easily that when it comes to the dirty terms, which is the politics, the the things that are out there in the world which are divisive, and there's a lot of things which are trying to divide us. And what we try to do is look at a different perspective and say, hey, look, it's not the things that divide us we need to be caring about. We need to care about the things that unite us. Because as a people, all these things out there are designed to divide us, and it's
Mhm.
a waste of our time, effort, and energy. When in reality, we need to focus on the things that unite us. We
Absolutely.
have so much to be thankful for. Look, I'll
Absolutely.
ask simple questions. Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have food on the table?
Hmm.
Can you take a shower or a bath? Can you wear clean clothes? Do you have clean clothes to wear? Do you have clothes to wear? Are you worried at the very moment that we're talking right now about being shot and killed? Are you certain basic things? Are you worried at any given moment that someone's going to break down your door and take everything from you and put you in a cage? So if you're not worried about those things, you live in a pretty happy place compared to the rest of the world. You just do. And
Absolutely.
whether you admit it or not, you do. And
Absolutely.
and so you hear terms out there which are designed to divide us and pit us one against the other. And these terms are just, we call it, there's a difference between, it's smoke and mirrors, right?
Hmm.
And you start to see the differences in certain words, because certain words sound the same but are not the same. There's a huge difference between the I'll give you a term of, oh my god, there's so many, it's unbelievable, that we what's the difference between liberty, right, and
Hmm.
freedom? So you look at all these different terms and they sound close to the same, but they don't mean the same. And so we are divided in everything in the world, puts us so that we don't stand as a people, that we fight against each other, because our country is doomed to fail, not from an outside attacker, because hell, our rednecks probably have one of the largest armies in the world, and that's just our rednecks.
That's a fact.
So
Yeah.
and a redneck is not, I'm sorry to say this for the people that want to divide us, but a redneck is not a white country boy. Sorry, there's a whole lot of other folks with a whole lot of different skin colors who are rednecks too. There just is. There's a whole lot of country folk who it don't matter what their skin color is. They're rednecks. They're redneck as hell, and they do redneck things. So you see those things, and we're not going to be attacked from outside of our borders. We're going to be attacked from within inside of our borders. We're going to be divided, and one of the first places that division occurs is education, or indoctrination. I'm going to call it. You see the
Hmm.
two words? Do you see how they sound similar, but they're not? So you raise your children up, and you have to, economically, you have two parents who have to go out and work in the world. And that's a whole different subject, where we talk about how our society and our system has been designed that um, a two-parent household is become a rarity. Now, whether you've been raised by a single mother or a single father, but not in a two-parent household, just statistically alone, all the odds which are good in this country get cut in half or less if you're raised by a single parent, statistically. And this is not,
Yeah.
me. I don't, you know what, if you're a single mom raising kids, or you're a single dad raising kids, God bless you. But what I'm getting at is that the when parents are not there for their kids, and they only see their kids 10 or 15 minutes a day, who's raising your children? And you look at the education system, and you're hearing all the horror stories that our children are not being taught how to read, how to write, how to do accounting, how to do home economics. Remember, we used to have shop class growing up, where you learn how to build things, you learn how to maintain a vehicle. You learn all that stuff in shop class, because if you didn't have it outside of the school, you could learn it in shop class. Home ec class taught you how to budget, how to plan a meal, create the meal, recipes, taking care of all those things. Hell, I took home ecs growing up.
But
I
you know,
didn't
Mother
take
Mike,
shop because I was raised on a farm. I took home ec.
you know the difference?
Hmm.
The difference is technology.
Hmm.
And I stumbled down a rabbit hole on Friday, on the tick of the talk, and they were talking. There were a lot of educators, and they were talking about how the children aren't learning. They can't hold their attention. They can't, like you said, you can't read, they can't write. They're passing through. They're passing. These are our future. This is our future. These are our leaders of this country in the next 20, 30 years. And it's the technology.
So
But
what are you telling
yeah,
me that Idiocracy is a documentary?
Idiocracy is a documentary. Absolutely,
It's not. It's not a fiction. That's documentary.
definitely.
Hmm. You know,
That's
one of
what
the
it.
funniest parts of that movie is, what were the shoes that they wore?
I don't
Crocs.
remember the
They
shoes.
wore Crocs.
No way. Now you're gonna make me go watch it again. I haven't seen that movie in
And
years. I'm
when
gonna
they
check it out again.
created the
No
movie,
way.
They came up with a shoe that was it was so obscure and so stupid and such an idiotic shoe that nobody would ever wear those damn things. And they put that in the movie because of that. And
Wow.
here we are. Everybody loves Crocs.
Hey,
What's that
not
tell you?
everybody, because I don't own a pair.
What I don't know either. What's that tell you?
Yeah.
Idiocracy is a documentary. And
Oh
I'm going to
man.
put it to you this way, why you say it's a documentary. Because now I'm talking, look at statistics and
Hmm.
if you don't believe me, go look it up. Who reproduces more? Who has more children? If
If
you're
you're
affluent,
affluent,
meaning middle class or upper class, and you make a lot of money, you tend to have less children than if you're poor. If you're poor, you tend to have what? 4, 5, 6 kids. If you're affluent, you tend to have 0 or 1, maybe 2, but that's it. So who's out reproducing? So if just by sheer numbers alone, smart people reproduce 1,
hmm,
dumb people reproduce 4, how long does it take before the dumb people outvote the smart people? And here we are.
here we are.
Dumb people are ruling the world. They're dumber than a box of rocks. And I don't know if you know 'em, but I know 'em. And the funniest part about these dumb people, which makes me laugh, is these dumb people think they're smart.
That's scary.
They think they're intelligent.
Yeah.
I've got some relatives.
Wait, hold up, Mike. Hold up. Time out. I'm sorry. Let me get a moment. Let me let me catch my breath, man. The whole dumb people think this smart thing, man, is really
Gets you, doesn't it?
resonating, man, and it's so
Gets
true.
you.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
it's
It's
scary
so
true.
crazy, man.
Hmm.
And to hear some people talk, and they make these statements that are unsubstantiated and without any premise, and there's no there's nothing
But they
behind it to
have
bear opinion.
attitude behind it.
Yeah.
They've got the biggest attitude. I always said that attitude without substantive backup, I mean, if you can't back up your attitude with facts, with
Hmm.
actions, etc., you're just a goddamn idiot. You're just talking
Right.
shit. You're useless. I've got relatives that reproduce like freaking rabbits. Okay, like rabbits. 6 kids, rabbits. And the problem with that is that these kids are useless. Swear to God.
Wow.
And I'm like, how do you contribute to society?
Mm.
You don't. Oh, okay. So if you're not an active contributing part of society, what are you? You're a parasitic leech. And why do we need a society full of parasitic leeches? I
Oh,
mean, let's
you
be
don't
honest
want my
about it.
answer. I have an answer.
Oh, yeah, because they're easily controlled.
Yeah,
You can
that
control
and
idiots.
put on the front line. I'm
Yeah, you
sorry.
can. Well, no, they're not good enough to go on the front line.
Oh, damn.
No, you know how hard it is to get in the military nowadays.
Yeah,
You
super
know what the
hard.
percentage of our population what's even qualifies to go in the military?
Yeah, that's scary as
It's
well.
scary. It's
Yeah,
frightening. One
not
percent. I
passing
think it's like one
hazmat
percent.
test
It's
is
something
really
stupid.
scary. Yeah.
So these young kids coming out of school, not only do they've been taught to not have the desire. When I grew up, and I'm OLD, I get it. But when I grew up, we had a flag in the classroom. We did the Pledge of Allegiance every day,
Hmm.
and the reason why is you don't forget your history. Now, whether you like your history or not, I don't give a shit. This whole thing where we had of the tearing down of statues and the desecrating of the renaming of towns and cities and streets and was stupid. For what? Oh, well, I don't like it. It didn't. And you didn't like it. It was mean. It was nasty. We can get rid of it. So you're going to erase the history. Whether you like it or not, history is not there for you to like. It's there for you to remember. And the reason why you remember, if it's bad history, you remember, don't do that again.
Yeah,
So history has a meaning behind it.
true.
If you don't like it, remember it and don't do it. So if you wipe out the history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Repeat it. Hmm.
And that's really that's super intelligent. I think
Yeah.
that's the smartest thing you could ever do is rename. I'll give you an example, near and dear to my heart, was
Oh,
Fort
the
Fort
basis. Yeah.
Fort Bragg.
Yeah,
Fort
Fort Bragg. I was
Bragg,
just
North
talking about that.
Kakalaki. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, but guess what? They can call it Fort Liberty.
Yeah, Fort Liberty.
What? Hang on a second.
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
never be that to me.
I big army. I don't know who's done the marketing for you guys, but
Ooh.
that's a no at this station. You
Oh,
are a
no,
no
no,
go.
no, no, no. They came from the movie. They came right straight out of
Huh?
the movie. Idiocracy. That's
No
who did
way.
it. No, that's had to have. I can't think of anybody else who'd be that dumb to do something that stupid.
Yeah. Oh man. Mm,
And I had a conversation with a student one time, as I teach,
hmm.
and this we were talking about this subject of tearing down statues. And this student came up, got all defensive about it, and then I said straight up, I says, "Hey, history is not there for you to like. It's there for you to remember, so you don't repeat it. And if you don't like it because it brings back a bad memory for you, then that means don't repeat it." And he was like, "I was like, yeah, you never thought about it that way, did you?
Right.
You never. All you thought about is the little, go do this because it's evil. Really? You know, uh, it's sad when you hear things and you have certain subjects which are considered taboo because you're not allowed to say those things. They're evil. Oh my God! But in not saying it, you're perpetuating the fraud. And if you say, well, there's a certain subject, I'm not going to talk about the subject, but you'll be able to figure it out awful damn fast which one I'm talking about, where an entire population of society was complacent. Because they were complacent, a certain ideology was able to take hold, have root, and become the law of the land. And it would have been fine if it stayed within its own borders, but it then decided it wanted to make the whole world the same way. And that's where there was a problem.
Mm,
So if you want to do something in your own country, whatever, it's your country, do what the hell you want to do. Who gives a shit? But when you start trying to shove it down the rest of the world's throat, that's a whole different story. So that particular ideology was a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage of the population agreed or was part of it. The majority of the population was just complacent because you've always heard the term either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution.
solution. Right.
Okay, if you're not actively part of the solution and you're passive, then by default, you are part of the problem because you are
Mhm.
now complacent and you have no meaning. And if you have no meaning, you're part of the problem. If you're actively fighting against the problem, you are part of the solution. If you are not actively fighting against the problem, by default,
Mhm.
you're part of the problem. And you
Yep.
can have 2% here and 2% here and 98% in the middle. 98% by default becomes part of the problem because they're not actively fighting against for the solution.
Where there's a Venn diagram that breaks that down, where you take a million people, let's say they're a million activists, and they're all fighting for this one thing. When you scale it on down, and you've seen the numbers, only the last 1% out of a million are the ones who are actually doing something in reference to whatever they're fighting for. And by that point, because of trends and popular opinion, it doesn't even matter anymore. And sometimes those people are looked upon as the enemy, or their voices die down to the point where they're irrelevant. But from 1 million to 1%, I know you're looking it up so you could break it down completely for our smarts who are watching. And for those who just came on board, I'm calling you guys. That's the moniker I'm giving you, the smarts, um, because that's what we have here: smart people, intelligent people who don't stray away from intelligent conversation and opinions. But yeah, Mike's gonna pull that up.
I actually did a post on it.
Oh, you did.
Yep, I got it right here. I just
Oh,
found it.
let's hear it.
All right, here we go. All right, let me get back here where I'm supposed to be. Boom, I'm there, and I'm there. So here's what I'm gonna post it in the chat so you and I can both see it, and then I'm gonna spit it out.
Perfect.
All right, and I wrote this one up in 2012. In
Oh, see,
2012,
still
I
relevant.
posted
Mm-hmm.
this because nothing changes in the world.
No,
Nothing
nothing.
changes. Nothing is the saying is there's nothing new under the sun. All right, so
Mm-mm.
there's 1 million people upset about a current situation. They're upset.
Mm-hmm.
We're pissed. 100,000 complain about it. So if a million people upset, they don't say anything.
Right.
So take that, and it's based on tens.
Mm-hmm.
So 100,000 complain about it. Now let's say, okay, of 100,000 complaining, 10,000 want to do something about it. So in other words, of the 100,000 complaining, only 10,000 actually
10,000.
want to do something. So some people just want to
Mm-hmm.
complain just
Mm-hmm.
to complain. You hear the phrase all the time. Some people just bitch to bitch.
Yep.
They'll complain, 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 but they will never ever want to make a change. They don't
Right.
care enough to, they just want to complain because they've been either told to complain or because that's all their personality understands is complaining.
True.
Okay. So we
Out
said
of the
a million
10,000.
upset,
Mm-hmm.
100,000 complain about it,
Mm-hmm.
10,000 want to do
Want to
something
do
about
something
it,
about it. Yeah.
1,000 out of a million have the ability.
1,000.
So if you don't have the ability, you can bitch all
Right.
you want, you can complain, you
Mm-hmm.
want to do something, but you don't have the ability.
The
You
ability.
one
Right.
way or another, either financial,
Mm-hmm.
time, uh, intelligence, it doesn't
Right.
matter what it is. If you don't have the ability, you don't have the ability. So of 10,000, 1,000 have the ability.
Mm-hmm.
Now here it comes down. Now we're getting to brass
Now
tacks.
we turn it down from a million.
Down from the 1,000 who have the
Mhm.
ability, 100 have the desire.
To do something.
The desire. I can have the ability. I can
Right.
have, yes, I can make a change.
Mm-hmm.
But do I really want
Really
to?
want
You
to.
see, because
Mhm.
that's the difference between having the ability and the desire.
True.
So now that I'm down to my 10,
From 100 to 10. From a million. Yes.
I'm down to
10.
10
10.
who they complain, they want to do
Mhm.
something, they have the ability, they have the desire. I'm now down to 10 out of a million.
Right.
So here's the problem,
They're distracted.
they're distracted. Like, and I tell stories all the time because people understand stories.
Mm-hmm.
So the world we live in is an island. The island is made up of grains of sand. So if you think of an island,
Mm-hmm.
think of the beach that surrounds the entire island, and every part of that beach is a grain of sand. It's grains of sand. It takes go to a beach, lift up the sand, and it's all grains of sand. Okay, so the beach is surrounded by the island is made up of beaches which surround the island, made up of sand, and the sand is made up of grains of sand. So
Mm-hmm.
now, if you're not distracted by various agendas, how many you got left of the
One.
10? If you're lucky.
Yeah.
So now here we go. The
Mm-hmm.
one of a million will either be persecuted or killed.
And
You
we've seen
think in
that
this,
throughout history.
do you think in this world people don't just die? Come on.
Hmm.
People die for not much. Look,
Yeah.
if you ever got involved with a certain family who got involved in politics in Arkansas and made their way up through the federal government, there
Ooh.
was a term called being suicided,
Mm.
and you end up having things like ropes around your neck in prisons. Where how's that even possible? And the cameras went out before that happened, and you were supposed to be on 24-hour surveillance. So how did those things
Ouch.
happen? Or you end up being suicided with two bullets in the back of your head. Now, if you
Mm-hmm.
don't know what I'm talking about, you can easily go search who died by suicide with two bullets in the back of their head.
Yeah.
How do you kill yourself?
That was with a long barrel shotgun too, right? Double
No, it's just
barrel? What?
no, it's
No.
pistol,
It was
pistol or
pistol.
rifle or
That's
something.
even worse. That's
How do you kill yourself with two shots in
mm.
the back of the head?
Ouch.
So this is called being suicided.
Yeah.
And there's a certain family, as politics go,
Whoa, whoa,
there
whoa, whoa. Mm.
oh, I didn't say, I'm not saying who. I'm saying
Okay.
as politics, as in both parties,
Mm.
have had history in this country of being families that you don't cross. If you cross them, you become suicided by one form or another. And there was a family out of Texas that had the worst reputation that you don't cross that family. And then the other one that came out on the other side of the party, and I don't mention who they are, was out of Arkansas. So when you see this, it's not one party, it's both, and they both have that kind of power. So
Well,
of a million people, you're down
mhm.
to you're the one.
Right.
You're going to be either persecuted, meaning financially destroyed. You're going to have charges pressed against you for things that never happened. You're going to be taken to court for things that never happened, but doesn't matter. You're spending your life trying to defend yourself. Your reputation is going to be destroyed.
Yep. Public
whatever.
humiliation. Yeah.
And we talked about this in the movies. We
Yeah.
talked about this during the movie that Arnold Schwarzenegger was on. Remember the movie we talked about? And it was not True Lies. It was the other one. It was the one where they. It was the one where they changed memories. That was the uh,
Total Recall.
Total Recall. In Total
Yeah.
Recall, bad things happen. You remember Running Man?
Hmm.
And in Running Man, remember the teacher that Arnold got involved with? The teacher, she had a totally clean life. She was pristine. But as soon as he got involved with her, in other words, she became just by association
Yeah.
near the
Near.
one.
Yeah.
They put out on the news that she cheated on a kindergarten test or something like that to make her look like a criminal.
Right.
So even if you're not a criminal, you're going to be made to look like a criminal. So it's really difficult for you to become the one who will make a difference because the world
Just
is
stacked
going
up
to
against
take you out.
you. Absolutely.
So you got to have a level of commitment and be willing to lose it all and not give a
Mhm.
damn. And that's the only way you're going to attempt to make a difference. But remember, if you do all of that effort and all that energy, you have to put it in perspective. What are you fighting?
Right.
One grain of sand in the entire
Entire island.
island.
Yeah.
So no matter how much effort you spend on that one grain of sand, the entire island has eroded around you.
Hmm.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. Yeah.
You see? So let's not to be a pessimist,
No, it's not about being pessimist. Oh
but
no.
the when you look at it in that perspective,
Hmm.
then you remember the words from the song that Mike and the Mechanics did back in the 80s. We're talking in the 80s, and Mike and the Mechanics was a band that came together and they had a song called Silent Running. And in Silent Running, they had a phrase in there. Don't believe the church and state whenever lies they tell you. Believe in me, I'm with the high command. Teach your children quietly, for someday sons and daughters will rise up and fight where we stood still.
Mm.
So if
So if
you want
you
to
want to
be the
be the one,
one, make a difference in educating those coming after you. That's where you make the difference because you're not going to fight the grain of sand and make a difference.
right?
But you can educate those who are coming after you so that when the time comes, they have the knowledge and the
Knowledge. Hmm.
tools they need to step up as a group and make the difference. We as a nation are so distracted, divided, don't have the ability. Hell, we're hamstrung as a nation. So, so since we are so disadvantaged, we can't make a difference because the circle has not completed. The circle only will complete. The circle will never go backwards. So we have not gotten to the point of completion of the circle. So we're not ready to move forward. So all we can do generationally is teach those coming after us so that when the
Mm.
time comes, they're ready to do something with the knowledge we've given them. But if we don't give them the knowledge, it's gone,
It's gone. Yeah, it's lost.
lost
Yep.
forever.
Yep.
I mean, I'll give you
And
this.
you know what's crazy about that?
Hmm,
Societal norms dictate that they don't care. They don't
no,
care about the knowledge.
no, they want you to be
They,
dumb. They want
they want you to.
idiocracy.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
The
want it.
the, the legacy based knowledge, they don't care about that stuff.
No. So
No.
look, there's books out there that you can get.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking digital. I'm talking about if
Mhm.
you want to have knowledge, if computers go down, where's the knowledge that teaches you how to purify water, how to build a shelter, how to do a
Yeah.
garden, how to butcher animals,
Mhm.
how to preserve food? Where's the knowledge of that? And do you have that knowledge? I
Right.
have that knowledge because
I have that knowledge. Well,
I
yeah.
was raised in an environment where we had
Mhm.
to do all of those things.
Yeah. Well, we have
Is that
military
me?
training.
Am I echoing?
No, that's me. That's me.
And in military training teaches a lot of survival skills, but
Mhm.
not a lot of folks have the advantage of that kind of stuff.
True.
So, you know, as an example, and I'll do a call to action here.
Mhm.
Go get yourself a copy of Reader's Digest, Back to Basics.
Listen, go write this down. Take notes. Reader's Digest. Listen to what the sensei is telling you. Go get this book. You never know when you're going to need it. If the power grid goes down, they're saying a third of the country. These are statistics. A third of the country would die in the first 90 days. A third. These are statistics. This is not me rambling off the top of my head. This is not an opinion. This is what they are saying. Statistically speaking, a third of the country would die in the first 90 days. Go get this book. Go ahead, Sensei.
It was originally published in 1981.
Hmm.
Updated over the years, it's a classic resource for those in homesteading, sustainability, living with more hands-on, fulfilling lifestyle. It's advice to help you become self-sufficient. The homesteading skills, energy conservation, home and health, how to take care of home medicine, home remedies. Oh my God, home remedies? So you don't have to go to the
Absolutely.
doctor?
Yeah.
Look, when I grew up, we had home remedies, okay?
Hmm.
There's all kinds of stuff we did.
Right.
Outdoor survival, community and sharing. Come on, this is like timeless. This is stuff that this knowledge that if you were not raised doing this stuff and you are just a city kid, which we have a huge amount of our population are city folk,
Hmm.
just have this book. If nothing else, have it on standby because you
Right.
might not read it. You might do nothing with it, but I'm going to tell you what, the time comes
At the time
and
comes.
you're going to die.
Yeah.
This might be the piece of treasured information that your generations who's come after you are thanking God that they have because it would have been
Hmm.
lost information otherwise.
Absolutely.
And
And hunting. If you're not a hunter gatherer, you know how to gather food, man. It's listen. These are real. These are real things that a lot of us say. Oh, we don't have to worry about that. We're in America. Listen, the America. As we love this great country, there are things that are happening in this great country that we didn't think would happen in this great country, and it's not a coincidence.
here's another book.
Yeah.
This is so fascinating. This information is at our fingertips. It's there. Okay. And you should have hard copies of this material because if the grid goes down and there's no electronics, how do you have the knowledge? You should have an atlas. An
Hmm.
atlas. You know what an atlas is? Us old folks know what an atlas is,
Yep.
but the young folks don't know what an atlas is. An
Never heard
atlas
of that.
is a big map of the
Mhm.
entire country. You should have an atlas on standby. You should have one in your house. You should have hard copy maps of the area you live in. So you should have one of the state map, hard copy, one of your county, hard copy, and potentially one of your city, your hard copy maps that you can pull a map open and it shows you to a degree everything that there is, streets, etc. Okay.
Yep.
There's a book called The Lost Ways. Here we go. What's it talk about? Survival techniques, forgotten skills from pioneer days. We're talking
Mm.
about food preservation with no refrigeration, building a shelter, making tools, old world recipes, herbal remedies.
Right.
Oh, boom.
Boom. What
You should
plants to
have
eat?
this book
Yeah.
on your shelf. The guy's name is
Absolutely.
Claude Davis, The Lost Ways. You should have this
Hmm.
book on your shelf, a hard copy. There's wisdom. Listen to this one. Here's one. The Foxfire book, this is called. What do they have in there? The topics include blacksmithing, moonshining,
Oh, that's needed.
quilting. Well, here's why moonshining is such an important skill to know.
Hmm.
Because if you need to make your own fuel for your engines, you can make your fuel for your engines out of moonshine.
Moonshine. Nice
If you
ethanol.
have a generator you need to run or a pump to pump water and there's no gasoline,
Hmm.
you can create a device where you can use moonshine and mix with other liquids to have a fuel which will burn in your generator to make electricity for you or pump water for you. You follow where I'm going with this, right? But you
Absolutely.
have to have the basic stuff, which is the alcohol, which is used to
Hmm.
create. You see where I'm going, right? You have to learn
Absolutely.
distilling. It's a super important.
Hmm.
Okay, and it's a series. That was a series.
Yeah.
Country wisdom, rural skills. What's the rural skill? Gardening, raising animals, home remedies. Oh my God, there's so many books out there. You
We need
want to
to
know
put that out
how to
there.
make
The list of the
pickles,
books on it.
bread,
Yeah.
cheese, learn how to make this
Mhm.
stuff. Okay, there's so many. I'm just going through, and there's 12 of them right here.
Okay. We're
It's
gonna
just
wait.
insane.
Smarts. We're gonna
Yep.
drop the list at the end of the podcast. We're gonna drop the list, and so you guys will have that information.
Yeah, we'll drop it. I'll send you a message, and then
Yeah.
from
Just
there you can work the whole thing,
yes, sir.
and that way you have it to put it out there. Because this is the type of books that in your house, if you do nothing else in your house,
Just
you
have
should
it
have
on
a
hand.
just have it. I don't care if you ever read the damn thing.
Listen, like y'all have those Bibles that y'all don't read.
You don't read? There you
You
are.
don't read those Bibles. Have these books in there that you don't read and pick up when you need it.
And
But
when you die,
mhm,
and the next generation coming after you says, "This is the books that mattered." So Big Mike is going to kick it, okay? And the generation coming after Big Mike is going to have this box, and this is going to be called. Let's see, what's a term I can use? A term that I would use for the library, right?
right.
Um, you're gonna love this.
We're creating a repository for you guys. Repository of knowledge.
Oh, here we go. Here's some cool ideas. The Heritage Shelf,
Mm,
the Artisanal Archive, the Forgotten Skills Library. That's a good name.
that's a good
The
name.
Practical Wisdom Vault, the
Hmm.
Self Reliance Collection, the Maker's Almanac.
Self-reliance collection. I like
You
that.
see, the
Yeah, yeah.
Pioneers Bookshelf. What you
Hmm.
do is you create this repository of this knowledge that you have that you can pass on because it's not your generation that needs it. It's the generation after or the generation 2 and 3 and 4 after.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you're looking at passing on your legacy. And
Hmm.
your legacy you can pass on is look, Grandpa Dwight was a crazy old coot, but he had some really neat stuff he knew, and he
Hmm.
wanted us to know it.
That's what this platform is about.
And so what
Absolutely.
happens is that Grandpa Dwight is passing on all this good knowledge.
Hmm.
And yet the family that you know, the young generation coming after you, you tell them about the library, saying, hey, if I die, you want to
Everything.
look for the Forgotten Skills Library.
Right.
It's going to be locked up in a vault. It's going to
Hmm.
be in this location. And if something ever happens to me, I want you to have that so you can have it to pass it on to your kids so that they can have so you don't lose the knowledge of
Yeah.
the world that we live in. Because
Priceless heirlooms.
imagine
Oh
right
man.
priceless heirloom. So imagine
Yep.
right now
Hmm.
we have the world at our fingertips. And imagine tomorrow
Boom. No, gone.
technology's gone. It's gone.
Gone.
Electricity's
Gone.
gone. It's gone. It's
Yep.
gone. It's gone. The grid went down, and you have no
Hmm.
access to this knowledge.
Yep.
What do you do if you don't have access to the knowledge?
Man. Mm. That's
I mean,
scary.
and it's
Yeah.
scary, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So to have that information available at your disposal is a big deal, and
Mm,
invest in it.
mm.
Get every one of those books, and once you're in the process of getting one or two of them, get 3 or 4 more. Because there's something about that kind of knowledge that you can't replicate because it's not being taught anywhere. Seriously, who
Seriously.
is teaching the skills
Oh no.
of you to how to plan for a garden in your region of the country that is going to produce the things you need to produce for you to be able to feed your family over the winter? Who teaches you how to plan for a backyard garden? Meaning, I don't have a lot of space. I got a backyard. I can grow certain things, and I live in this region of the country. What can I grow? How do I grow? And then once I grow it, what do I do with it? You see, that knowledge.
Hmm.
If you don't have the internet to look it up, how do you get it?
Right.
You know, when I was growing up, they had this stuff that was like this. I can't remember the name of it. I just know that it got passed on from person to person. And if
Hmm.
you wanted to make this, I can't remember if it was a bread, but there's this bread that a batch would be created, and then you would take a piece of your batch and give it to the next person, and that was the starter, and they would add ingredients to it and make their own batch, and then they would pass their batch on and cut it and put to the next person, and that's how it got passed from family to family
The
to
family.
family.
Yeah.
And it was a special bread or a
Mhm.
special I can't remember uh,
Meanwhile, while he's thinking about that, and we're talking about repository heirlooms, um, there's something else that you, the smarts, it's something else that you guys need to have a skill set in, how to defend yourself. Right?
ooh,
We've talked about firearms training. We've talked about uh preparing. We preparing to survive in place or survive outside of your standard household or domestic area. How to defend yourself. If you can't defend yourself, you have nothing. You don't have a bargaining chip. You have to understand that if something like this was to happen, ammo is more precious than food.
then gold and silver.
Ammo is more precious than gold and silver.
Because and the nice part about ammo is, let's say I got a box of 9 millimeter shells,
Yeah.
and you got eggs. I can trade with you. I can give you
Hmm.
some bullets, and you can give me some eggs, or I can use my bullets to take your eggs. But either way, I'm gonna get
Either
some eggs.
way, yeah. But if you can't defend yourself, the latter is going. What might happen?
You got nothing. Now, what are you going to bargain
Yeah,
with?
yeah. Now we have your farm. We have your food.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, because if you can't defend your farm, it's
yeah.
taken from you.
It's definitely getting taken from you.
So then we asked ourselves the question, because we're having
Mhm.
fun with this, we're free balling.
We're free balling. Free balling.
What would be a preferred weapon in a house? Meaning you're inside your house, you're in your home, and you believe that you may have to defend your home. So, do you want to make a lot of noise in defending your home or just get it dealt with?
You want to get it dealt with,
Oh,
and ooh,
okay. So,
and I'm moving in silent.
I want to be silent.
Yeah.
Shh.
Shh.
Be very, very quiet. We are hunting rabbits. You see? So,
Yes.
if we're hunting rabbits,
Mhm.
do we want to use boomsticks, which make a lot of noise and hurt my ears and make me blind because I can't see from the flash of light?
Mm-mm.
No, I don't want to use
No,
boomsticks.
I'm gonna grab a machete. That's the answer to the quiz.
That's the answer. You just answered the question.
That's the answer to
So,
the quiz.
so you can go online and
Mhm.
you can find yourself a pretty wicked Ontario. That's the name,
Ontario.
Ontario.
Mhm.
It's a hardened steel that you can put a nice edge on it, has a nice heft to it, and it's silent. And you never, ever, ever have to worry about somebody saying, well, you shot them. Well, you shot them. So
Mm.
therefore, you didn't have to shoot them. You well, but if they're close enough to me and my life is in danger and I cut their arm off, well, then
Well,
guess what? A little easier to defend that action. So a machete is a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Boomstick, if you're out and about in public, it's kind of hard to tote around a machete.
right.
But if
But
you're in your home,
in your home, yeah,
a machete's better than a baseball bat. And don't get me
yeah.
wrong, baseball bat's okay,
Hmm.
but you have to have it's a blunt object, right? You have to have you can't do as much instantaneous devastating damage with a blunt object as you can with something which is weighted and can remove limbs. And
Yeah.
I know that's morbid to think about it, but guess what?
No,
If
no,
somebody breaks into your house, you
absolutely. You
better be
defend it.
ready
Absolutely,
to
absolutely.
defend yourself with whatever
Hmm.
it takes.
Yeah. And if you've never been in a gunfight or had that training, you, the closing distance between someone wielding a knife or machete and versus a gun, if it's a matter of certain feet, it's a good chance that gun will not win that battle.
10 to 15 feet.
Yeah.
And
That's.
and 10 to 15 feet,
Hmm.
10 feet guaranteed, the machete has the advantage.
Absolutely.
At 10 feet distance, the machete has the advantage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. 100%.
100%.
Oh, you can
Look,
make me
folks,
ask.
we've been trained. We're not talking from, again, we're not talking to the smarts. Again, we've been trained. So this is not something that we're talking off the top of our head. These aren't opinions. We're giving you facts. Facts, facts, facts. As the sensei is over there.
Oh, yeah, here it comes. Here it comes.
Mind is
I
spinning.
am up on it, man. I
I
said,
know.
at what distance does a machete have the advantage over a pistol? Now they're talking about the skills and et cetera, but okay, but this is some funny shit.
Hmm.
Close range at 7 feet or less. The machete absolutely has the advantage. Hands down, has the advantage. Okay, 7 feet. Doesn't require aiming, can be swung, fraction of a second. Person armed with a firearm, they don't have enough time to draw, aim before they're being struck. Okay.
Hmm.
Law enforcement refers to what's called the 21-foot rule.
Oh, I've seen that.
At 21 foot, a
Yep.
person with a edged weapon, such as a knife or machete, can close the distance and
Hmm.
strike before the firearm wielder can effectively react and fire. So at 7 to 21 feet, if the person with the gun is prepared
Hmm.
and trained. So here's the
Those
deal.
big ifs, because what percentage of the population is that?
It's it's and not just that, but
Yeah.
if you have a gun and it's in your hand, you think you have the advantage, so therefore you're not prepared for someone to close the distance.
Right.
So if you're not prepared that I'm going to close that gap and you've got a gun, you think you've got the advantage, and therefore by the time you react, I've closed the distance.
Now.
I've made it under seven
Mhm.
feet. Because how long does it take to close the gap from 15 feet or 17, 21 feet down to 7? That's 14 feet. All right. If
Right.
you're moving, what's the distance the average person, when they're moving rapidly, covers in one step?
Probably fractions of a second.
So you're talking 3 to 4 feet you cover in one step.
Hmm.
Just walking, if you step walking, not running, but
Yeah.
walking, you cover the distance in what? 2 steps, 3 steps. So it's step, step, here I am. Think of how
Yeah.
long it takes to go step, step, here I am. You've already closed the gap.
Boom.
So the person with the gun, thinking they got the advantage, and you go step, step, here I am. Oh
Hmm.
shit. Now they're
Oh,
trying to draw their weapon. You already know because you got the machete in your hands. The moment they draw the weapon, where am I aiming with my machete?
that arm's gone. No more. No more
The
gun.
hand, the
The hand. Yeah.
gun, the something. You
Hmm.
can hold it with your
Something.
fingers, and you ain't got no fingers left.
Right.
But you see what I'm getting at, right?
Absolutely.
Because beyond 21 feet, the firearm almost always has an advantage because it's too far to get
Hmm.
close enough unnoticed. Now the reaction time. Here's the reaction time, which comes into that. Reaction time. If I have the machete, I already know in my mind I'm going to do this. Therefore, I have that split second or second of reaction time that the other person doesn't. They're not even. They have to react and go, "Oh
Right. They're not
shit,
expecting it. Yeah.
this is happening."
Hmm.
And by the time they can go, "Oh shit, this is happening," it's already
Already
happened.
over. It already
It's
happened.
already there, and here
Yep.
you go, and you can reach out and go swing, and it's done.
Swing. Bada boom.
Walla bang, walla bang. And and that's why you have to seriously consider
Yeah.
um and I'm not talking a baseball bat, I'm talking a machete, because the
Yeah.
baseball bat is a blunt and it's not as effective as a tool. And
Hmm.
so in personal defense, you have to have the right tool for the job. And unless you constantly, and I'm talking about at least 2 times a month, go out and actively train at a proper range. Now, and you say, okay, well, what's that mean? That means that you wear sunglasses, you get on the ground and do a bunch of push-ups and get your heart rate up, and then go shoot at your target. So it has to be that you can't even see. It's super dark, so the darkest sunglasses you can wear. You should never ever go to a gun range calm, cool, collected, unless you're zeroing your weapons, and then calmly go out and shoot at your targets. Oh, I hit targets at 25 feet. Yeah, do 10 push-ups, put dark sunglasses on. You tell me how much you can shoot. Are you going to shoot during the day or at night?
Right.
When do you shoot? In the light or the dark? If you
Oh,
have to use your weapon to defend
yeah.
yourself, when are you
Right.
shooting?
You're shooting at the dark in the dark.
And you're scared shitless.
Mm-hmm.
So where's your heart rate going to do?
Absolutely. Heart rate is going to be increased.
So what's it going to do to your accuracy?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you
Actually,
hear
very.
officers who
Yeah.
shoot 60 rounds and don't hit a single person.
Mm-hmm.
They load, reload, reload, reload. 4 officers shooting at the same target. None of them hit them. So if trained police officers who do this stuff can't hit a damn target to save their lives, do you think anybody else can? No one's an assassin. We are not John Wick, okay?
John Wick is wild.
We are not John Wick. No,
Right.
no. If you're not John Wick, now you need to say, what's a tool that I can use
Mm-hmm.
to my advantage because I'm not John Wick? You see? And we're not all going to be sword wielding because a sword just has a bad connotation to it, right?
Right.
But a machete,
Mm-hmm.
you see, a machete is a universal tool you use in your garden. It's for your bushes, and it's just
Right.
just is. And where do you keep your machete? You keep your machete in your bedroom. Where are you going to be if something goes bad in your house and somebody breaks in the door? Where are you going to be at? I don't have
And
time to
in
go
your
running
bedroom.
across my house to go get to
Mhm.
my machete. My
Right.
machete needs to be where I can wake up and
Mhm.
there it is.
And it's your house, so you have the advantage because you know the
And
layout
do you
of your house.
care about leaving machete out if you got kids running around?
Mm-mm.
You
You
always
should
hear
be.
about, well, I got to put my guns up because I got kids coming up around the house
True.
and I don't
True.
want
True.
kids playing with the guns. Do I have that problem if I got a machete?
Mm-mm.
So if I don't have a problem because it's just a freaking machete, for God's sake, what the hell's a kid going to do with a machete? You see where I'm going with this, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
you reduce the risk factor, the safety factor,
Uh-huh.
and yet increase your potential within how big are your rooms in your house? Maximum room size, most houses is 14 foot, right?
Right.
So it's 14 foot. That's really close to the 7-foot rule. You see?
Uh-huh.
You're at the 14 feet. It's your house. You know your house. You know everything in your house. The stranger coming in doesn't know your house. And it's going to be dark. So you know everything. So the advantage is 100% you with a machete.
Absolutely.
And I don't need to be shooting a weapon and hitting my neighbors accidentally.
Yeah. There's a bunch of laws against that too. So
Yeah,
I
it's
know what
crazy
you're
stuff.
doing.
And not
Yeah,
just
it's
that.
crazy
When a
stuff.
bad guy comes to my house, I don't need to
Yeah.
unload my entire magazine of 21
Uh-huh.
rounds plus reload and do another 21 rounds and then reload because they frown upon you reloading. But I can swing my machete until my arm gets tired.
Yeah. And don't shoot them in the back. Lord
Well,
knows.
with the machete, can they tell if they cut you in the front or the back?
Oh, you cannot. No,
Not a
sir.
little, not a little harder to tell, right?
Mhm.
Because you can always spin them around and whack them in the front.
That's
I
wild.
said this is entertainment purposes only. That's all. I swear to God, that's all I said. I'm telling you what. They always hear it. The cops always say, if you're gonna shoot a bad guy, drag him back in the house.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't let him get out the house.
Don't let them out of your house. Do not let them
Mm-mm.
die in your front yard. They better be
No.
inside your house. Drag them back in. I don't care if there's blood from the outside
Yeah.
coming back to the inside. He
Mhm.
came in after me again.
Right.
Okay, drag their ass back in the house.
If you don't, you're going to jail.
You're going to jail and you ain't getting
You're
out because
going to jail, buddy.
who can afford the attorneys to get out of jail?
Yeah. Mm.
The world we live in, the craziness.
This is our freestyle night. You know what? We should probably do this more often, man. I'm
I
gonna
know this
schedule
is
these
so
out,
much.
man.
This is
I've
so much
enjoyed this,
fun.
man. Um, I know we went on a tangent from
Couple of tangents.
survival
Oh my
to
God, survival to really big
yeah,
survival, right?
exactly. But yeah, we're gonna post those list of books at the end of the show.
Absolutely.
Um, and if you don't think these things can happen, man, listen, it's very easy for a rogue nation who have nuclear capabilities. They don't even have to have something dispersed on our ground. It could be in our atmosphere. It could be a dirty
Stuff.
bomb in our atmosphere, and that
Set
would
off
shut
the coast.
the
It can set off
EMP.
the coast of California,
Yeah,
and where's the wind blow?
yeah, exactly. So It's very possible, and we're talking about not much effort at
No,
all. Not much effort.
they call them dirty bombs for a reason.
Yeah, we're talking about less effort than it took to plan 9/11, and I apologize for saying that, and I hope we don't get flagged for that, but less effort than that. So, an EMP would surely take down the grid, and then we'd be out of power, and be months before it's back up. So, you know, that's not sci-fi. This is readable information.
The CDC tells you. All right, how did you know what the current CDC recommendations are for the amount of supplies you should have? Do you know what it is?
It should be what 9 months? No, not 9 months. 3 months, 90 days.
So the current CDC recommendations, okay? This is what
Let
the
me see something.
CDC,
90 days.
Center of Disease Control,
Yeah.
emergency supply kit, household, several days, minimum of 3 day supply of non-perishable foods, battery operated radios, flashlights, first aid kit,
Mhm.
extra batteries, whistles, dust masks, a gallon per person per day for 3 days. That's bare minimum.
Mm.
So they have a kit, and you can go to CDC at ready.gov and go there and look at build a kit. Okay? Just go there. It's all out there. This is from the government. They're telling you what you should have on stock in your house at any given time. Minimum. You need to make sure you go there and build a kit at ready.gov and build a kit page and build your kit for your house so that even if you have a natural disaster, a hurricane, power goes out for who knows what the hell why. All right. You've got a snowstorm that comes in and you're out of power for 5 days.
Yeah.
You should have the kit from the CDC's list. I guarantee if you were living in West Virginia and the floods came, you
Oh,
need to have had your
Tennessee?
kit.
Oh man, listen. Yeah. Wow.
Right. So we're
Yep.
not talking, I'm not talking conspiracy theory shit. I'm talking about just natural
Natural.
disasters. You got a flood that comes through your area. You got a tornado
Hmm.
comes through your area. How many parts of the country deal with this shit all the time?
All the
You've
time.
got hurricanes. You've got, you know, so many things that happen. Deep snowstorms, deep freezes. Shit, if the temperature goes below 0 degrees in certain parts of the country, power just starts to go out.
Yep.
You need to have your kit prepped. If I can't get out and go to the store because the shelves are empty because a snowstorm's coming and everybody bought everything on the shelf, I need to already have my stuff at home. Well, I'm not talking fancy weird stuff. I'm talking the basics you need to protect yourself and your family so you're not dying on the vine. Do you
Hmm.
have an ability for emergency blankets and a way to make some emergency water if you have to? How do you have one of those? They have a straw you can get that's called a Guardia straw.
Yep. I have those.
And you can take that straw and go to the creek and you can drink water and not get sick. Because if you go to the creek and drink water, you're going to get the Amazon trots. You know, you can get the trot, you can hurt your squirts. You're going to get the, oh my God, the Montezuma's revenge. You're going to get stuff like that. And you also need to have the pills on stock that if you ever get that, you can fix it. It's called Lomotil. It's a
Hmm.
little tiny pill that they use for folks who get malaria and stuff, and their digestive system goes to hell, and you can't keep anything down. You take one of these, and it stops all that mess so you can actually get back to being normal and survive.
Right.
Oh, oh, it's time to dance. Are we done dancing?
We're going to continue this.
We're going to continue.
Yes,
But this
sir.
is the basics.
This is the
We can
basics, people.
we'll get
Listen,
into.
we our smarts. Thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna. You know what? Go ahead and you close out, Mike, and then I'll
Oh
close
yeah,
out. Okay.
look. In today's world, we got to prepare ourselves for even the most stupid things because
Mhm.
life happens and we don't even realize it happened.
Absolutely.
Don't be caught with your pants down.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Be smarter than that. And if
Absolutely.
you need help doing it, the knowledge is there and it can be provided to you.
Listen, I'm gonna post the list, people. Look out for the list. You have any questions? Hit us on Facebook or any other social media platforms. Shoot us an email at info at the final boss podcast, all one word. That's the email. You can reach out and send us messages again throughout the different social medias. And please like, share, subscribe. We thank you. We love you. That's our show for tonight. And we're closing out. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Boom.